the secant line, as the thing says. In order to use this to graph the secant line, we need to use the average rate of change. All right, so this is going to be our slope. Remember what I said, our slope value, our slope m is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. F is a fancy way of saying y, so this is just the slope right here. All right, so in order to do that, let's take this over, and here it is right here. I put it already right here. You don't need to put this in if you don't want to, the x1 and x2. I just did to show you. But here's my f of x right here. I typed f of x equals 3x squared minus 8x minus 3. So now I'm going to sit there and type in my x2 and x1. Order doesn't matter. So I can sit there and say f of negative 10 minus f of 2. And close this. So I get my stuff in the bottom. And then negative 10, minus 2. There you go right there. As long as these two are on top of each other and these two are on top of each other, you are good. All right, so I can show you. So if I say f of 2 minus f of negative 10, all right, divided by 2 is first, so 2 minus a negative 10. Whatever's in parentheses goes there. These two minus signs are always there, and then minus 10 right there. Notice the sign, it is exactly the same. So order doesn't matter, it's as long as the numbers are on top of each other. That is the slope. That is the slope of the secant line. Okay. So now I'm going to plot my points. One point I did is the canvas gave me was negative 10. The other point is 2. Okay. So I'm going to plot these 2 points. So I have ordered pair, negative 10, and then comma, you need the comma there, so ordered pair, f of negative 10. Now give me my y value. Label it. Okay. There we go. There it is right there, 337. There's my y value right there. Okay. And then let's see here, I have 2, comma, need that comma, f of 2. Label it. And there's the 2 right there. All right, so let's work with this, expand this out a little bit. Let's change this. I don't need to start at negative 304. Let's start at negative 12. All right, and let's end at 5. And there we go. There's my parabola right there. What I want to do, a secant line goes through the parabola twice. All right, so I pick one of these points. I like this point a lot better. It's easier. So I'm going to say y minus negative 7, the point slope, equals negative 32, that's my slope, times x minus 2. All right, and there it is. I'm done. Let's change that to a blue. And here's my secant line. Goes through both my points, so I know it's checked. Question says, what's the y-intercept? My y-intercept is 57. So I put it on in at 57. And I am done. So that is graphing the secant line. You can see my secant line, it goes through twice. First point, second point. Notice right here, I did not have to find my, I just put my ordered pair in. I didn't have to find my y value. The f function is a fancy way of saying y. All right. I typed in f of negative 10, and right here where I showed my work, I have my ordered pair, negative 10, 377, 2, negative 7. All it did was punch that 2 into this function. 3 times 2 squared is 12, minus 8 times 2, which is negative 16. 12 minus 16 is negative 4. Negative 4 minus 3 is the negative 7. All right. This will do the same thing, but it'll punch up at 377 with 10, negative 10. All right. So let's go on to the next problem and keep pushing. Here's the average rate of change that I just used on a previous problem. All right. F of x2 minus f of x1 over x2 minus x1. All right. And here is the old slope equation. Y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. They are exactly the same thing. Remember, y is a fancy, or fx is a fancy way of saying y. All right. So I could say y sub 1 is equal to x sub 1. All right. And y sub 2 is equal to f of x sub 2. They are the same thing. We generally use this when we have a function like this right here, all right, when we're given an fx, then we'll use this equation. And then when we don't have a function, we generally use this one, like this equation, like this problem right here, which I'm ready to do. It's still the average rate of change, all right, but there's no equation, so we're just going to punch it into the slope equation, all right. So that said, let's begin. I'm just going to punch it into, it's the same thing. So here we go. I have a group of climbers are on a hike climbing up a hill. All right. After 2 hours, their altitude is 277. After 6 hours, their altitude is 442. What is their average rate of change during this time in feet per hour? So feet's on top, hour is on the bottom. So I could say 277 minus 442. All right. 277 minus 442. All right. Divided by, now 277 went first. Since 277 went first, 2 goes first. So 2 minus 6 on the bottom. 2 minus 6. And the answer is 41.25. They started at 277. We went to 442. So they are going up like here. They're going up. So the slope, of course, is positive. All right. I can also go 442 minus 277. But that said, if I do that, then I have to go 6 minus 2. Because the 6 went with the 442. And again, you can see the answer is exactly the same. 41.25 is their average rate of change, or the slope of the hill. So anyway, that's how you do that problem. All right. So just let you know. So here you have the average rate of change. Just punch in the slope. Here you have the average rate of change, but since there is no function, just find the slope itself like you did in Algebra 1. And then earlier we did a secant line, and that is using the average rate of change, but using the point slope to get the secant line. All righty. Thank you.